Seamlessly transitioning on-premises workloads to AWS, a step-by-step guide with EC2 and RDS. This podcast is brought to you by Business Compass LLC. We are an Amazon Web Services advanced consulting partner. We build and migrate workloads to Amazon Cloud. Our website is businesscompassllc.com. Our phone number is 973-638-2228. Our email address is contact@businesscompassllc.us. Migrating on-premises workloads to the cloud is critical for organizations that want to leverage cloud infrastructure's scalability, reliability, and cost-effectiveness. This podcast will walk you through migrating your on-premises applications and databases to AWS using Amazon EC2 and Amazon RDS. We'll cover each phase in detail, from initial planning to the final deployment, to ensure a smooth and successful migration. Introduction, Project Overview and Migration Strategy. Migrating to the cloud is not just about moving data, it's about transforming your entire IT landscape. The project aims to migrate your existing on-premises workloads, including application servers and databases, to AWS. The primary strategy is minimizing downtime and ensuring data integrity using AWS's scalable infrastructure. We will use Amazon EC2 for the application servers and Amazon RDS for MySQL to handle the database migration. Planning phase, resource inventory and cloud architecture design. The first step in any migration project is thorough planning. Inventory your existing resources, including servers, databases, storage, and networking components. Identify which components can be directly migrated and which may need re-architecting. Design your cloud architecture by mapping your on-premises resources to AWS services. Key considerations include network architecture. Plan your VPC, subnets, and gateways. Compute resources. Decide on the EC2 instance types and sizes. Database. Choose the right RDS instance type and storage options. Security. Implement best practices for securing your cloud environment. Execution phase, VPC, subnet, and Internet gateway creation. With the architecture defined, the next step is to set up your AWS environment. Create a VPC, virtual private cloud. This will be the isolated network environment where your resources reside. Define subnets. Create public and private subnets within your VPC. Public subnets will host your application servers, while private subnets will host your database servers. Set up an Internet gateway. Attach an Internet gateway to your VPC to allow Internet access to your public subnets resources. Database migration. Setting up RDS for MySQL. The next critical phase is migrating your database. Launch an RDS instance, choose MySQL as the database engine, and configure the RDS instance with the necessary CPU, memory, and storage. Configure security groups. Only authorized IP addresses can access your RDS instance. Migrate data. To transfer your on-premises data to the RDS instance, use the AWS Database Migration Service, DMS, or native MySQL tools. Test the database. Once the migration is complete, run queries and validate that the data has been correctly migrated. Application server setup. Configuring EC2 in a public subnet. With the database in place, setting up your application servers is time. Launch EC2 instances. Choose the appropriate instance type based on your workload requirements. Configure security groups. Allow inbound traffic on necessary ports, for example, HTTP, HTTPS, and restrict access to authorized IP addresses. Install necessary software, SSH, into your EC2 instances and install the necessary software and dependencies for your application. Application deployment, scripting and configuration. Deploy your application to the EC2 instances. Automate deployment. Use scripts or configuration management tools, for example, Ansible, Chef, or AWS Code Deploy, to automate the deployment process. Configure application settings. Update configuration files to reflect the new environment, such as database connection strings pointing to the RDS instance. Test the application. Verify that the application functions as expected in the new AWS environment. Dry run and go live, testing and final migration steps. Before fully migrating, conduct a dry run to test the entire setup. Conduct a dry run. Migrate a sample workload and run it parallel to your on-premises setup. Monitor for any issues. Plan the cutover. To minimize impact, schedule the final migration during a low traffic period. Execute the final migration. Migrate the remaining workloads, switch DNS settings, and redirect traffic to the new AWS environment. Security enhancement. Securing the database server. Security is paramount in any cloud migration. Implement encryption. Enable encryption at rest and in transit for your RDS instance. Set up monitoring and alerts. Use AWS CloudWatch and other monitoring tools to keep track of performance and potential security issues. Regular backups. Configure automated backups and snapshots for your RDS database to ensure data integrity. Conclusion: successful migration and future considerations. Congratulations! You've successfully migrated your on-premises workloads to AWS using EC2 and RDS. To optimize your infrastructure further, consider implementing additional AWS services like auto-scaling, elastic load balancing, and CloudFront. Also, regularly review and update your security policies and use AWS's cost management tools to ensure your cloud environment remains efficient and secure. Thank you for listening to our podcast. Please share this podcast, visit our website, and follow our social media links.